Welcome to Factorio, and today, as you can see, we have cleared out that nice big iron patch that we were hoping to connect by rail. We've defended to the north, as you can see, with plenty of laser turrets. Nothing has actually come down that way yet, so it's not that big a deal. But I'm sure they will do as soon as we start digging all of the resources out of the ground. There's also another alien base to the south down here that I am a little concerned about, but again, they've made no real moves against us yet, and they do have to walk up against our defensive, offensive wall trench system, which you will have seen in full effect in the last episode. So what are we doing today? So today we're going to build the rail. I've already cleared the trees out of the way to make this a relatively painless exercise. But what we want to try and do is connect this patch here to our main factory area, because that has started running a little low on primary resources. So we're going to get cracking. I've already measured this out, so it should be relatively straightforward. But for those of you who watch on an occasional to regular basis, nothing is ever completely straightforward. The big trick that we're going to try and accomplish is we're going to try and get two trains working the one track to make sure that nobody is ever waiting for resources that long. Now I've gone straight over the copper there, but that's the intention behind that is to just grab the iron. We're not too bothered about copper at this moment in time. Of course, that's quite likely to change as well, but let's see how we get on. I want to run a single track line up against this row of trees. I think maybe just a little higher. And that will involve the use of signals to make sure that my trains aren't going to collide with each other too dramatically. Dramatic collision of trains may look entertaining, but it's not the most practical thing we could be doing. So let's take this out round the corner. So this is going to form the other end of the line where resources are dropped off. And it's going to come down to just how many resources we can get out at the same time. Oh, I don't know what we want here. Hold on a moment. Sure, shotgun shell damage. Why not? Not that I use shotguns. But as mentioned before, we are just trying to clear up all of the research so that we can crack on towards getting the defences up, and therefore allowing our friendly colonists to land on this glorious planet. So if I've measured this correctly, we should go straight along this beautiful wooded glade, and then link it up with what will form the station at this end for loading. We should all be good. Right, let's move you along. That should sit there. Or should it be there? Let's extend this out a little bit. It's not the most intuitive thing in the world, is laying track in this game. But if you keep your wits about you, it is relatively straightforward once you've done it a few times. There we go, we want it there. Grand. And then we're going to do another loop around the bottom to come in here. And again, if I've measured correctly, this should go swimmingly. Oh, come on. No. Yes. Good. And I mean, it's not intuitive because it does leave these gaps when you're doing corners. So it's very easy to miss the piece of track that you actually want. But I think, where are we going? One more. Is that it, or is that it? I think it's the first one there. Link this up. Link that up. Now we've got one end of our train network all done. Marvellous. in a nice big loop. Now this won't be the last piece of train track we build, not by a long stretch. We will certainly be expanding in the future as well, and I don't expect that ore field, despite being actually, you know, pretty extensive, I don't expect that will last indefinitely. Right, and then let's get the corner of the link up going, which is going down here. Now, I'm not particularly short on resources, so I could very easily have run parallel tracks and just done this like a loop. But to be honest, I prefer doing it with signals because it sets up slightly better practice. So, first things first, let's get some stations in. And we're going to want the station this side, the arrows on the track pointing which way the train is going to go. So there we go, we've got our first station, which is Samuel William Smart Station. Very nice. And we're going to want that to also have a fuel loading position, which is going to be a smart inserter. And as you can see, I've already linked this up to the end of my my fuel brick line to make sure that we can fuel the engine. So when we've got the engine fueled up, in fact, let's get one on there now, point it the right way, you can park there, start getting that juiced up, and we'll go with 3 trucks on each train for the time being. Soon running will be a thing of the past. Right, and we'll put our second station up here, and this one's called, this is the Thomas Wood Station. Splendid. Okay, let's keep some research going. Okay, so we don't need fueling up at this end. I've got some on me, haven't I? Yeah, okay. So let's put you there. We'll manually add fuel to this engine, add the coaches, and eventually what we'll end up is we'll have all of these coaches being loaded, and then at the other end all of the coaches being unloaded. Trucks, not coaches. Call them what you will. So let's get some signals in. Now signals, like stations, you want to make sure that they're targeting the piece of track that you want to ensure is clear. So if we push our signal there, then no train will go past as long as if that track is occupied. And we'll put another one here so that nobody comes charging. Hang on, that's on the wrong end. I'll put another one there to make sure that no one goes charging into the back of the engine while it's loading. Now obviously we don't want anybody at any point stopping on the shared track section. So again, let's put this on the correct side. You can wait there. And we'll have another one. Where should we put the last one? That should about do it. There's nothing wrong with having too many signals. If anything, it stops things getting. I mean, the last thing you want is for things to run into the back of each other. And you run the train, and that should stop at the second signal. No, it should stop at the third signal. There we go, and the third signal is clearly in an incredibly stupid place. Brilliant. That's not what we wanted in the slightest. Oh well. Let's set this to do the same thing, except the other way around. We'll leave them on 30 seconds for the time being, because we can always increase that length of time when we need to. You should stop at that signal, and now nobody's going anywhere. Oh, that's amazing. I'm some kind of genius. There we go. We'll put this here, which will allow you go through. He can now clear. We can now get into the station. Fantastico. Okay, grand. And then in 20 seconds or so, we should set off again. Where's the best viewing point? There's the best viewing point. We can see both engines. And here's the ominous waiting period to make sure that this is going to work as intended.